Hello, friends. Today's movie recap is the kind that'll mess with your heart and your head at the same time. Because this isn't just a sweet neighbors to lovers story. It's a quiet war between love and pride, between a rich family's rules and a girl who refuses to be treated like she's disposable. It starts in a college writing workshop where our heroine, Rel, pretends she wrote nothing, while hiding a page that could expose everything she's feeling. Next door to her modest home sits a mansion owned by Barcelona's most powerful family. And inside that mansion is Eris, the guy she's loved in silence for years. One stolen Wi-Fi password turns into late-night music, secret kisses, mind games, jealousy, and a betrayal so humiliating it shatters her trust. And just when you think it can't get worse, one fight at prom leads to a life-or-death moment. So yeah, buckle up. Let's start, friends.
Today's story is about two neighbors who fall in love, but the circumstances make their relationship incredibly complicated. On one side, there's a boy from a wealthy family who is too afraid to confess his true feelings due to the fear of his family. On the other side, there's an innocent girl from a middle-class family who finds herself torn between the love she holds in her heart and her deeply rooted self-respect. The story begins in a college library during a writing workshop. The professor asks a girl to share what she has written. The girl responds nothing. Hearing this, the professor remarks, if you didn't write anything, what was the point of coming here? However, the girl had actually written something, but she quietly hides the paper in her pocket and leaves without a word. Her name is Rel, and she begins narrating her story. Rel tells us that she comes from a middle-class family living in a modest home, located next to a grand mansion owned by Barcelona's wealthiest family, the Hidalgo family. This luxurious mansion resembles a palace, but Michelle's small house stands in stark contrast. She lives there with her mother. The Hidalgo family has 3 sons, the eldest Artemis, the youngest Apollo, and the middle one Eris, who happens to be Michelle's secret crush. Rel confesses that she loves Aris so much that she has meticulously saved every little detail about him in her laptop, his workout routines, his preferences, and even his dislikes. But the most curious part is she has never spoken to him face to face. One evening while using her laptop, Rel notices her Wi-Fi isn't working. As she checks the router, she sees Apollo sitting outside her window. She asks him, "Are you using my Wi-Fi? How did you get the password?" Apollo casually replies, "My brother Aris gave me the password. There was no signal in my room, so I came here." He then gets up and leaves, unbeknownst to her. This exchange about the Wi-Fi password sets the stage for the entire story. Later that night, Michelle is woken up by loud music blasting through her Wi-Fi. She looks out the window to find Aris standing below, playing music at full volume on a laptop. Frustrated, she calls out, "Are you seriously using my Wi-Fi for this? Turn it down and leave." Aris smirks and replies, "You know a lot about me. Well, now I know something about you too." He then cheekily calls her a witch and walks away. The next morning, Rel is at college chatting with her best friend Yoshi. Yoshi jokes with her saying, "Rel, one day I'll be your husband." Rel just laughs it off as always. Later, she heads to the college football field where the boys are working out. She's there just to catch a glimpse of Eris. Suddenly, it starts raining and everyone scatters. Eris begins walking home on foot, and Rel, unable to resist, starts following him from a distance. However, after a while she loses sight of him and begins looking around nervously. In her search, she accidentally falls into a pothole. She manages to stand up, but as she continues looking for Eris, he suddenly appears behind her. Startled, she jumps a little. Aris smirks and asks, "Why are you following me?" Rel, flustered, quickly denies it, stammering, "I wasn't following anyone." Aris steps closer, grabs her hand, and writes something on her hand with a sly smile. He says, "This is your Wi-Fi password, right? Because of the Wi-Fi password, I had to hack your entire laptop. I saw all the files on it, and it's full of my photos and information. Why are you doing all this?" Aris asks Rel directly. Feeling nervous, Rel softly replies, "Because I love you and I want you to love me too." Hearing this, Aris bursts out laughing and says, "You're not even my type." Rel, holding back her emotions, calmly responds, "We'll see about that later." "For now, just drop me home. I'm scared to go alone." Aries smirks mischievously and says, "Fine, but only on one condition, if you kiss me." Shocked, Rel initially refuses, but eventually agrees. As Aries leans in to kiss her, he suddenly stops and steps back, saying, "It's getting late, let's go." He drops her off at her house, leaving Michelle feeling confused. Once inside, Michelle immediately turns off her Wi-Fi and sits down to have dinner with her mother. Later that night, Aris sneaks into Michelle's room. Startled, Rel jumps and asks angrily, "Why are you here so late at night?" Aris casually replies, "Someone turned off the Wi-Fi, so I came to fix it." Aris pulls out a chair for her and tells her to sit quietly. He kneels down and begins to slowly touch her feet, kissing them lightly. Michelle's heart starts racing, but before the situation escalates, Aris says goodnight, before leaving through the window. The next day, Michelle is working at a cafe where her friend Yoshi is also present. Suddenly, Aris walks in and Michelle tries to hide, but Aris spots her. Jokingly, he says your job seems very interesting, and then leaves after inviting her to the opening party of his club. He adds, "You can bring someone with you if you want." Later that evening, Rel arrives at the party with her friend Danila. Danila, full of excitement, is thrilled by the lively atmosphere of the club. Meanwhile, Rel spots Aris heading toward the VIP area. She tries to follow him, but a guard stops her, saying no entry without the password. Just then, Artemis arrives and allows Rel to enter. However, even after getting inside, she doesn't see Aris. Feeling disheartened, she steps out through the back door and notices Aris standing alone in an alley. Rel approaches him and starts talking. As they get closer, she leans in and kisses him. Aris begins to reciprocate, but Rel suddenly pulls back with a playful smile and says, "You've messed with a witch, and now you'll have to pay for it." Back at the bar, Michelle orders a glass of water. Apollo, already sitting there, comments, "My brother never lets me drink." Amused, Rel orders him a drink. Apollo quickly downs it, but he gets drunk so fast that he starts losing control. Michelle and Danila help him out of the club, but Apollo panics and refuses to go home. When Michelle takes out her phone to call Aris, Apollo snatches it and throws it away, breaking it. With no other option, Michelle brings him to her house where Apollo falls asleep on her bed. Sometime later, Aris arrives at Michelle's house. Frustrated, he asks, "Why did you give him a drink? He can't handle alcohol, and I knew he wouldn't return home if he drank." Aris looks at the clock and sighs. "It's already 6 a.m. I'll have to wait here until Dad leaves for the office." Aris lies down on the bed as well, and Michelle silently comes and sits between them. However, Aris begins to touch Rel softly, which makes her feel a mix of emotions. Both of them start enjoying this intimate moment together. The next morning, Michelle shares everything about the night with her friends. Hearing this, Danila gets very excited and curious. Later, Rel and Yoshi return to her house to study. While studying, Rel notices a package delivered to her. Inside, she finds a new mobile phone and a note revealing that it's a gift from Aris. Rel asks Yoshi to wait and immediately heads to Aris's house to return the phone. Outside the house, she meets Artemis's secretary Claudia, who guides her inside. Michelle goes straight to Aris's room and places the phone on the table, saying she doesn't want it. Aris replies, "Returning a gift is not polite, especially since my brother was the one who broke your phone." Michelle insists only the screen was damaged. "My old phone is still working." Saying this, she starts to leave. As she turns to go, Aris grabs her hand and says, "I want to kiss you." Michelle pulls her hand free and storms out, but stops after a few steps. Gathering her courage, she comes back and kisses him. As the kiss deepens, Aris realizes it's Michelle's first time and gently asks, "Are you sure you're ready for this?" Michelle nods confidently, and the two share an intense and passionate moment, completely lost in each other. After everything settles, Aris abruptly gets up, his demeanor suddenly cold, and starts playing video games. He casually tells Rel to take the phone with her. Feeling hurt by his behavior, Rel angrily grabs the phone and throws it in the dustbin before leaving. When she reaches home, Yoshi notices something is wrong and asks her what happened. Rel avoids the question, saying no studying today. I'm not in the mood. She angrily shuts her window, which directly faces Eris's room. The next morning, Rel is attending her writing workshop when she gets a notification on her phone. It's a picture of Aries wearing her necklace. She realizes she forgot it in his room the previous day. Without hesitation, she rushes to his house to retrieve it. When she arrives, Aris is in the swimming pool with his friends. As Rel watches, Aris suddenly comes out of the water and jumps into the pool with her. Caught off guard, Rel complains the water is salty. Aris explains, I'm allergic to chlorine, so we don't use it in our pool. Rel, still annoyed, tells him I'm not in the mood for swimming. I just came to get my necklace. Aris leads her to his room and gently places the necklace around her neck. While doing so, he kisses her again, and the intensity between them reignites. They lose themselves in the moment, and once again things get heated. After some time, Aris suddenly gets up and leaves the room without a word, leaving Rel feeling uneasy and confused. Claudia enters the room and starts treating Rel rudely, accusing her of not belonging there. Aris, standing outside, hears everything but doesn't intervene. Hurt and angry, Rel leaves and returns home. The next day, Yoshi decides to cheer her up by taking her to a party. However, Michelle's mood takes a turn for the worse when she sees Eris there with another girl. Trying to lift her spirits, Yoshi says, forget him. Let's just enjoy ourselves. The party gets lively and everyone dances on the floor, but Rel spots Eris kissing another girl. Her heart shatters at the sight, and she quietly leaves the party. Rel, Yoshi, and Danila head to the college swimming pool to cool off. While chatting, Rel starts joking around and playfully pushes Yoshi into the pool. However, Danila accidentally spills some chemicals into the water. Rel quickly pulls Yoshi out, and the three of them run away in a panic. Meanwhile, back at his house, Aris feels restless and uneasy. He tries to connect to Michelle's Wi-Fi but finds it doesn't work because Rel has changed the password. Aris hacks into Michelle's Wi-Fi and discovers that she has set the password to something abusive directed at him. Furious, he messages her, I hate you so much. That night, Rel returns home drunk, unable to find her house key. She sits outside her house feeling helpless. Aris notices her and, without saying a word, picks her up and takes her to her room. Once inside, Michelle mutters, tell me a story and then don't ever come near me again. Aris, hesitant at first, begins sharing his story indirectly. He talks about his parents, describing how they openly had relationships with other people in front of him, and neither of them seemed to care. He shares how his father told him to never fall in love because love makes people weak. Aris admits that this fear has stayed with him his whole life, making him avoid love. He confesses indirectly that he left her the last time because he got scared of the feelings he was developing for her. As Aris pours his heart out, Rel quietly falls asleep. The next morning, Michelle's mother wakes her up groggy. Rel checks her phone and sees a few messages from Aris, though they've all been deleted. She types out a message to tell him to leave her alone, but hesitates and doesn't send it. Meanwhile, Aris checks his phone repeatedly hoping for a message from Michelle, but finds none. Later, his father and elder brother Artemis confront him. They take him into a room and scold him, saying, we keep getting complaints about your behavior at college. You need to stop running away from your proper responsibilities and focus on becoming capable of handling the company. Forget about that girl, she's just a distraction. It turns out that Artemis had told their father everything about Aris and Rel. The next day, Rel is studying with Yoshi in the library when Aris shows up. He approaches her looking remorseful and apologizes. Michelle gets angry, takes him outside, and says, what did you think? That after everything you've done you could just apologize, and I'd forgive you. Aris responds earnestly, I'm deeply ashamed of how I've treated you. I've never felt this way about anyone before, and I want to make things right. He then asks her to go on a date with him to a costume party. Michelle hesitates but eventually agrees. Yoshi overhears the conversation and feels hurt because he has feelings for Rel. He tells her, you're making a mistake by giving him another chance. You know he's going to use you and leave you like he does with everyone else. Don't come crying to me when it happens, because I won't be there to pick up the pieces. The day of the date arrives, and Michelle is excited yet nervous. However, Aries surprises her by saying we're not going to the costume party. I've made a change in plans to make this moment more special. He takes her to the rooftop of his office building where he's arranged a romantic dinner under the stars. After dinner, they get swept up in the moment, and their passion takes over once again. From that day on, the two of them start meeting every day, unable to stay apart. Their romance grows intense. Their days together become blissful and full of excitement. One evening, while Aries is having dinner with his family, his father shows him a video of their rooftop dinner. The video also captures their intimate moments, and his father warns him, "I told you to stay away from that girl. If this video leaks, your career and our reputation will be destroyed." Aries, angered by his father's interference, storms out of the house. He heads straight to the cafe where Rel works and surprises everyone by taking a job there to be closer to her. The next day, Artemis enters Ariz's room and notices a cap lying on his desk. He picks it up and sees an address stitched onto it, the cafe where Aries has been working. Suspicious, Artemis goes to the cafe and finds Ariz working there alongside Rel. This sight angers him, especially seeing Rel with Aris. Determined to humiliate her, Artemis organizes a company party at their home and invites Aris, who decides to bring Rel along to introduce her to his family. Rel is nervous and worried about whether they will accept her. What she doesn't know is that her mother has been hired as a waitress for the same party. At the event, Aris begins introducing Rel to his family. Artemis, intent on insulting Michelle, signals her mother to serve drinks in front of everyone. When Michelle sees her mother working as a waitress, she feels deeply humiliated and hurt. Overwhelmed with sadness, she decides to leave the party. As she storms out, Aris runs after her to explain, but she slaps him in anger. Rel accuses him of orchestrating the situation to embarrass her. She goes home and cries uncontrollably, convinced that Aris was part of the insult. Days go by without Rel speaking to Ariz despite his repeated attempts to contact her. Eventually, Michelle and Ariz end up talking, and both apologize to each other. Ariz then asks her to attend the upcoming prom with him. Rel, still upset, replies it's better if you don't come and leaves back home. She hugs her mother and cries, telling her how Aris betrayed her. To comfort her, Michelle's mother shares a story. "Do you know why your father never got his book published? He never even took it to the publisher. He was a brilliant writer, but lacked faith in himself." She then advises, "If you care about Aris, talk to him openly. We solve the problem, not destroy the relationship." Realizing she may have misunderstood Aris, Michelle decides to make things right. She rushes to Aris's house to apologize, but Artemis tries to stop her. Despite this, she manages to tell Aris, "I'm sorry," and leaves. Later, she messages him saying, "I'll wait for you at the prom." At the prom, Michelle waits nervously while everyone around her dances. Ariz, determined to meet her, runs toward the party. However, Yoshi intercepts him at the gate, saying, "You're just playing with Rel, you'll use her and leave her like the others." Their argument escalates into a physical fight, and Aris drags Yoshi to a nearby pool to talk. Their heated argument turns into a scuffle, and Aris accidentally falls into the water below. Unbeknownst to Yoshi, the water contains chlorine, to which Aris is severely allergic. Struggling to breathe, Aris loses consciousness. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Yoshi runs to Rel and confesses, "Aris came for you, but we fought and I pushed him into the pool." Horrified, Rel sprints to the pool and finds Ariz unconscious. With Yoshi's help, they pull Ariz out and rush him to the hospital. At the hospital, Michelle stays by Aris's side, helping him recover. Witnessing her unwavering care, Aris's family finally understands the depth of their love and decides to support their relationship instead of opposing it. Once Aries recovers, he makes a life-changing decision. He leaves the business world behind to pursue his dream of studying medicine, though this decision means they must be apart. 4 months later, Michelle hosts a reading event where she shares a book she has written. The story is deeply emotional and resonates with the audience, who give her a standing ovation. The title of the book is Through My Window, her very own love story with Eris. The next morning, Michelle, missing Eris terribly, lies in bed reading his messages. Suddenly, she notices him sitting at her window. Surprised and overjoyed, the two share a heartfelt reunion.